guys. Welcome to Gypsy's bed camp. Gypsy is an absolutely beautiful little fox terrier, and I've taken her out a few times now. She was a COVID puppy who unfortunately also had an owner who wasn't well enough to get Gypsy out into the world at the critical times and socialise her with things. So as a result of that, Gypsy's become very anxious anywhere outside of the house with dogs, people. She's a lovely little dog and she loves affection, but she's very frightened. And Gypsy's actually just gone on medication, which I never jump to medication, but for some dogs it is just the best thing in the world. When you have a certain level of genuine anxiety disorder, through whatever reason, we know why she's anxious. She hasn't had all of the critical socialization at the critical time. And for some dogs that are that scared, what medication can do, and it only has to be temporary, it can just sort of bring them up enough to be able to be receptive to the work that you need to do. We need to socialize her, but we need to do it now at her pace because she's genuinely frightened. And it's great that she's going on the medication. In 5 or 6 weeks, we should hopefully get to see if she responds well to it. And I really do think that she's going to be one of these dogs that does, just because I've met her kind before and she's just so terrified. So that's great that we're doing that, and I am taking her out a couple of times a week to socialise her with the world and the dogs and the people and all of the things. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is because of the advice that this owner was given, and this is a common thing. Now, I've been fence-sitting on the whole doggy daycare situation for a while, and listen, for some dogs it's fantastic. If you've got a dog that's reasonably well socialised with other dogs, and you're at work all day, and it could just do much better by being somewhere and playing and running and doing all of the things. However, I'm fence-sitting on two kinds of dogs. One of them is this kind, the highly anxious dog, and the second one is the highly dog reactive or aggressive dog. I don't think the daycare scenario works so well for them. And I've been asking a lot of questions and thinking about this for a while. So whilst doggy daycare is great and I'm all for it, I find it counterproductive for a dog like this or for a reactive dog, aggressive dog. And the reason is, when you've got a dog that's this scared, placing it in a situation where it's on its own, surrounded by God knows how many dogs of different sizes, and a dog like this would just, I couldn't think of anything worse for her, to be honest. When you've got a dog that's this frightened, it needs to be done in a way that's sensitive to where they are. I need to be able to get Gypsy to be okay with just one or two little dogs before I open her world to something like a daycare situation. And when it comes to the dog aggressive, reactive dogs, a big part of the work I do with them is purposefully creating these positive social experiences so that it can get its confidence up socially. I'm trying to avoid the reaction at all. I don't want to feed that reaction cycle. I want to socialize this dog and help it feel comfortable enough that that, 'cause, 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 ' that, look, if you put a reactive dog in a cage and it's surrounded by 10 or 20 dogs going by, barking, carrying on, you're going to feed that reactiveness without a doubt. So whilst I'm trying to purposefully create good social experiences for dogs that do not involve reactivity, and doing it at a pace where I can control that and then increase the dogs at the dog's pace, that's a really important part of being able to re-socialize a dog that's missed out on its critical time. So I don't want it in a situation where it's just having to go off and react and be completely overwhelmed. So I'd had those thoughts for a while in my mind about how I'm not 100% convinced that this is good for all dogs. And I know a lovely girl who I met at a dog park who works in one, so I shared I asked her what she thought. She seems to know dogs really well, and she agreed. For some dogs that are anxious, it's not the best thing for them. Now, maybe in time, Gypsy can do that. But that's not what she needs right now. She's too terrified for that, and that wouldn't be suitable. And that's what was recommended to her by a vet. And so I just want to be clear that whether or not veterinary science, veterinary nursing, all of those things, behaviour is a tiny little bit of component of the education. It's kind of a specialised area in that you learn the basics and you know what to do when you've got an anxious dog come in, but you're not a dog behaviourist. And so you're not always going to get the best advice, because not everyone understands fully the whole canine behaviour, socialisation, and all of the nuances that involves. So, you know, it can seem like the answer. You've got a dog that needs socialising, stick it in daycare. It's just not that simple once you've already got a reactive dog, and it's just not suitable for every dog. And my dog would love it. Like certain dogs, it's perfect for. But this dog, it's not perfect for. Hey, buddy. Hey, he's just not, is it? And that's okay. We'll get there. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share. To daycare or not to daycare. I'm taking little Gyps down Main Street now. We're going to do some interacting with people and things in a nice way, aren't we, hey? All right, so that's all I wanted to say, guys. Bye. Say bye, Gyps.